I'm the student and I present the historical Netherlands loophole. Okay, so now almost everything is set up for the actual tactic that I want to show you, and you can see if you have a look on the lowlands that every single one of these provinces has at least 31 development. You can see Amsterdam has 35 development even, because this monument over here actually gives you base tax and production when you upgrade it. You can probably understand how crazy that is the best if I show you the province overview of province development, and then I of course sort by development. And now you can see, of course, Constantinople, is the biggest one, but then comes Paris, which is not, of course, in the Netherlands, but then you can see every single one of these provinces that you can see up to Hainau over here is in the Netherlands and will become my province when I play as the Netherlands. Which means that the Netherlands that I'm going to play in a second will literally have 18 out of the first 20 most developed provinces in the entire world. And then on top of that comes, of course, that these all have crazy good trade goods, and they are all built up with the maximum useful buildings that I could build in them. If you have a look at this, this is like just a crazy built up version of the Netherlands already. Now and then what I also set up is, you can see these little colonies of these subjects that I have, which is actually 4 subjects in total, which is Gelre, Utrecht, Friesland, and East Frisia. And I chose these ones because all of them are able to join the Republic. I'm going to show you that in a second when I play the Netherlands. But basically you have to understand that with these nations I am able to give the released Netherlands provinces outside of the Low Countries. So for example, East Frisia over here also owns Bremen, Hamburg, and Copenhagen, okay? So these provinces, of course below 5 provinces, because otherwise they wouldn't join anymore. These provinces are outside of the Netherlands, but I will still get them once this East Frisia nation joins the Republic, okay? Same for Gelre over here, that owns this trade center over here, as well as the trade center of Edinburgh, as well as this one over here in Ireland for the North Sea trade centers. And Friesland, lastly, owns London, Lincolnshire, and Gloucester, right? So with these provinces, I will have vast control over Lübeck, North Sea, and the English Channel. And now only one subject nation is left that I haven't talked about, which is Utrecht. You can see Utrecht has only 1 province right now, but I will feed them 3 more provinces, which are exactly Calais, Co, and Contenti, okay? All of these are, of course, trade centers in the English Channel that I will need as the Netherlands, so that I can get a big control over the English Channel trade node, right? So I'm just going to feed that to them right now. And now all I have to do is release these subjects. And I'm going to start with Utrecht, because nobody has a claim on them, as you can see. So nobody can attack them right away. So I'm just going to break the vassalization, wait until the diplomat comes back. And I also waited until just before the end of the month. You're going to see in a second why. And now what I can do is I can also release my other 3 subjects. So just break the vassalization over here for Gelre and for Friesland and for East Frisia. And now all of these nations are independent and have less than 5 provinces, and they have a province in the Low Countries region, and they all have their primary culture in the Low Countries culture group, which means that all of these nations now are able to join the Republic once the Netherlands exists by event. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But first of all, I need to, of course, become the Netherlands. And for that, it is very interesting that if you are in the Dutch Revolt, there is an event which lets the Netherlands become independent. Now, there are two ways to trigger that. First of all, you have 5 provinces occupied by rebels in the Low Countries region, which I don't want because, that gives devastation and so on. I don't want that. But luckily, there is another option, which is that there are 5 provinces with 90% or more autonomy. And this means that I can just, de-state 5 provinces. So, for example, the Wallonia state over here, as well as Groningen. By the way, the Wallonia state will join the Republic because I converted them to Flemish culture. So now I have, once the month ticks over, this autonomy will go to 90%, and the event for the Netherlands independence will immediately trigger, which means that I now already have to prepare my nation for that, which of course means deleting all my armies as well as my navy to make it a little easier. And, I could break alliances, but it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter because you can see this France has 45,000 dead. And after this France loses control over all of these high-def provinces, they won't be able to take any more loans. So they will most likely go bankrupt. But I, of course, have to take my technologies now because they are overtaken by the Netherlands nation. So I'm going to take these 2 technologies as well as decrease my inflation as far as I can to 0, as you can see, as well as I'm now able to also develop, I think, like 2 more times, for example, over here, and, whatever over here. And that's it now. That's the final setup. And now I'll let the month pass and we'll see what happens after that. And there we go. The Netherlands just declared independence on the 1st of September, which is the first possible day that it could trigger because of my autonomy. So it immediately triggered. And now I don't want to unpause because I don't really want them to take like government reforms and so on. So I can now choose 2 options in this event, which is, first of all, they just declare war on me. Okay? And the second one is very interesting because it has the option in the name of Oranje, open the gate, which of course means that I also declare war on France, but I will play as the Netherlands. And actually, it's a very interesting choice because the developers actually did this with a reason, because there are a few events that will help you succeed as a historical breakaway state of the Netherlands, as it was historically, basically, right? Now, instead of historically, I actually built up these provinces to an insane amount, okay? Which means that now I'm just going to click this option and I will become the Netherlands. There we go, I just declared war on France. And now, before we do anything else, I need to guarantee the states that I want to join the Republic, because otherwise they might get attacked by nations surrounding them. And as I said, I of course overtook the technologies, as I also took the historical idea sets of the Netherlands, which is admin and exploration ideas, which honestly is not really that great, but yeah, whatever, I'm just going to keep it for now because I don't have any other points to fill other ideas, so whatever. And now I can do a few things, which is first of all the estate setup, and second of all the government reform setup. And the first thing that I want to do before I do anything with my crownland is I want to change my tier 1 government type out of the Dutch Republic, even though it's a great tier 1 reform, but I want to be a plutocracy. You're going to see in a second why that is. Okay, so I'm just going to change to a plutocracy, as I said, because this only is possible once, as long as you have high grounded and higher loyalty than influence. So I'm going to do it right away, which gives me a merchant as well as merchant republic mechanics for trade posts, trade leagues, and trading cities. Okay, that's first of all, and now I'm just going to go through the reforms and through the estates, and we're going to continue once all of that is done. Just while I came around the privileges over here, you can see I adapted my cloth provinces so much that from the monopoly I would gain 2,200 ducats, and that is because my autonomy just updated and got to 0%, which means that already right now I have an income of 60 ducats just from production and tax, with no trade income yet. Okay, so now I've just did the estate setup, and yeah, I will hire my advisors once I get a little money, and for that actually I don't need to do anything. I don't need to take any loans or something. I just need to unpause. But before I do that, of course, as I said, I'm now strong enough, so I want to proclaim a guarantee now on every nation that I want to inherit via the Join the Republic event, okay? And now you can see once I unpause one day, I get the event Dutch Mobilization, which is a scripted event, of course, that should help the historical Netherlands to basically get a starting point in the war as well as in the economy. You can see this will give me an army and a navy based on my force limit, okay? As well as 500 ducats and a general with 80 tradition. And you can see, based on my force limit, that is actually a lot. I have a force limit of 79 for army, as well as 81 for navy. And that's why I'm getting, for example, on the navy, 24 heavy ships right away just for clicking this event over here. So this is a really, really helpful event, especially if you build up the nation as I did before. So there you can see I immediately start with a 64 ships strong navy, as well as a 79, my force limit of armies, as well as some artillery even in that army. As well as I think I get another 3 development in Amsterdam, if I'm correct. Yes, you can see it's now 38 development. Okay, and now after month tick, I not only become a great power number 6 straight away, but also I of course updated my great income, which is already before, you know, inheriting like Friesland and Utrecht and so on. It is already 35 ducats, which means that I have already an income of 102 ducats, and I will definitely increase that by quite a bit in the next few years. And there is the first event that I was talking about. Utrecht joins the Republic. And let me just talk about this event real quick, because if you played the Netherlands yourself, you probably wouldn't have gotten that event, because normally this event only triggers if you if the Netherlands becomes the Netherlands through the Dutch revolt disaster, okay? And normally it also only happens after that if the Netherlands are an AI, okay? But as I've decided to play as the Netherlands in the disaster event, I now got a hidden country modifier, which is called like released and played as the Netherlands or something like that. And with this hidden country flag, it actually allows me to trigger these events of other nations joining the Republic as the Netherlands, even though I am the player. And now you can see what this gives me, okay? First of all, of course, it gives me all of the provinces that Utrecht owns for free, which in this case not only is the Overstreet provinces that they own in the Low Countries region, but also Calais, Caen and Cotentin that I, fed to them as France before, okay? So I will just, inherit Utrecht, as you can see. But also it will give me an insane amount of ducats, as well as manpower, as well as sailors. And the way that this is calculated is that the money you get from these events, as well as the manpower and sailors, is calculated based on 3 years of income. So you can see I have right now an income of 105 ducats. which means that 105 times 12 times 3 will be this number, okay? 3,700 ducats. And same goes for manpower. I'm gaining 470 manpower per month times 12 times 3 will be that 17,000 manpower. Same for the sailors, you know? And this is an insane amount of income that you get from this event. 3,700 ducats, and this is scaled from your income. And I'm going to not get this one time, but I'm actually going to get this 4 times for now. And also, by the way, which is also scripted, I got an alliance with the rivals of France, which sadly was only Castile because France was so insanely strong. But luckily, actually, Castile has Aragon as well as Naples, which is quite huge, under a personal union, which means that I can now call them to arms with the promise of land, whatever, and I will have a little help in this war. And you can see we outnumber them already by quite a bit. And there goes Friesland. They also joined the Republic, and as I increase my income by 20 ducats, this now not gives me 3,700 ducats, but 4,400 ducats, as well as also a little bit more manpower. There goes Gelre into the Republic. Right now it's already 5,000 ducats. Also, by the way, this event has a mean time of happening of 12 months, but it is triggered on the side of East Frisian, or on the, on the other side of a nation. So it's not my event, it's, in this case, Gelre's event. So every single nation of these 4 that I just inherited, 3 of them already, had their own event trigger for this event. So that's why it seems to go so fast. Okay, I can already take out Portugal for war reps and Cap Verde over here, as well as some money, so I can start colonizing and gaining even more trade income through the African trade nodes. And finally, there is East Frisia, so now I've inherited everything that I planned to inherit before I released and played as the Netherlands, which also means that I now own the entirety of the lowlands region, as well as almost every trade center in the surrounding trade nodes. I will inherit Hamburg and Bremen over here, as well as Copenhagen. So this will give me an insane boost to my income, and you can see it's already up to 174 ducats, which means that I get 6,000 ducats just from this one event over here. Okay, now I can make peace with France. I of course won't give Castile anything. I really don't care about this alliance. I care about money over everything else. So I'm just going to take trade power from them, as well as war reps, and with this one trade center in the Burgundy trade node, as you can see, as well as a connection to my provinces so that I can walk around there. So anyways, I can just piece them out right now, and if I now let 1 month pass, probably my income is going to drop a little, but also it increased a lot because I made the guilds come to power. Just let me boost them once again, as well as I enacted my golden era, which means that I'm now at 200 income within just 2 years of playing this nation, of course. And as the Reformation just started, I of course want to become reformed, not only for the 3,000 ducats over there, but also because it has the best modifiers in-game for money, especially for trade money, as well as the Netherlands have some insane boosts to that religion. So that will help me a lot with my income, and you're going to see in a second when I'm done with the entire setup. It will take me probably just a few more years, and then you're going to see how insane this build is. Okay, I just completed the mission Dutch Naval Supremacy, and if I'm correct, then this means that I can right now already, after playing just 14 years, can take the naval hegemony right now, because this halves the requirements. The naval hegemony, yes, there it is. This is naval hegemony in 1524. I have now 400 ducats of income. And this is now the moment, after 20 years that I only played as the Netherlands, of course, to start the trick that I talked about in the intro. And that trick is actually very simple. You already saw that I inherited people through the Joins the Republic event, and you also saw that this gave me money scaled by my income. Okay, I said it was 3 years of income, which means that in this case, as I have almost 400 ducats of income, right? This would be 400 times 12 times 3. So every time this event would trigger now, will give me 14.4 thousand ducats. Okay? As well as, of course, an insane amount of manpower and especially sailors. Now, of course, there are no nations anymore that can join the Republic, right? Because, I own all of the Republic, basically. But now comes the interesting part about this event. This event triggers for every nation that is in the lowlands region, so that has one province in the lowlands region, and also only if that nation also has the primary culture of the lowlands cultures, right? So Frisian, Dutch, and Flemish, right? And also, this nation is not allowed to have a truce with the Netherlands, so me, and it is not allowed to be a subject. Okay, these are the requirements. Now, of course, for example, if I, release Brabant over here, by the way, they had more than 4 provinces, so bad example. But let's say I released Flanders over here with this subject interactions, right, as a vassal. Then what this will mean is that they will be my subject, so they cannot join the Republic. Now, of course, I could release them and then, abandon the vassal, and then, they could join the Republic, but only after 5 years, because they will then have a truce with me, right? So that's all not really a good idea. But what is a good idea is to use another type of nation that is very rare, because you need a very special government type for that. And actually, I have that very special government type, because I'm talking about trading cities. You see, the special thing about trading cities is, let me just create one real quick. So for example, in such a province as Oberstrich over here, it's not a very good province for me. You can see that it has only 20 development, so I can just create a trading city there, right? Now it will be called whatever, it doesn't really matter actually, but now I can create that trading city. Now, this nation is an independent nation, okay? It is not my subject, because it's only a trading city that is part of my trade league. But trade league members are still independent countries. Now, also, the province that I've released them in is Dutch culture, which means that they will also be Dutch primary culture. They, of course, have no truce with me, and they haven't triggered that event yet. Which means that now if I, let a few months pass, then you see that they actually can join the Republic. And as I said, my income, of course, is slightly below 400. So I got literally 13,900 ducats, so almost 14,000 ducats, as well as 23,000 manpower and 50,000 sailors. Okay? And of course, I get my province back, right? So now what I can do is simply I can create a new trading city. Of course, the only downside is that I have to, rename that every time. So 1, 2, and so on. But anyways, I can create a new trading city in the exactly same province, which now also has Dutch primary culture and is a completely new tag, which means that it can now join the Republic again. Now, the mean time of happening of this is 12 months, okay? Which means that on average it takes me 1 year for them to join my republic. Now, the good thing is that it works within the lowlands region. The bad thing is that I can't create trading cities in more than one trading city per trade node. But the other good thing is that there are actually 2 trade nodes in the Low Countries region, which is the English Channel and the Champagne trade node. Which means that I can always, now release another nation out of one of these Champagne provinces, which I think I will actually do it with this province over here, Namen. So I can now create a trading city over here as well. Okay, and now I have already halved the time that I need to annex nations, basically, which means that now on average, every 6 months, I get one to join the Republic, okay? Now there's one downside. There is a maximum of 75 tags reserved for trading cities, which means that I can do this only 75 times. But maybe now you noticed why I waited for getting such a high income. Because if you calculate what happens if I inherit, if I get 14,000 ducats for 75 times, that actually means that I get more than 1 million ducats, okay? And that is of course my goal. I'm just going to repeatedly release new trading cities, 2 at a time, and then inherit them via the Joins the Republic event, gain 14,000 ducats, and I'm going to do that 75 or rather 72 times more than I've done it already, and then we should end up with the maximum treasury of 1 million ducats in just around a few years. So I'm just going to do that real quick and we're going to see when it's done. And the last Overstrich clone joins the Republic, which is actually the 36th, because the first was of course without number. And you can also see that I'm at 24, so 25 actually of these Namen province nations. So actually only 60 nations that I integrated, and the reason for that is that I increased my income by quite a bit in the last 10 years. So that is why I now get actually almost 18,000 ducats from these events, as well as the same 23,000 manpower and 65,000 sailors, because I have the maximum naval hegemony. But now let me just integrate the last one, Overstrich 35, into my nation, and that means that I'm now on the maximum 1 million ducats in my treasury, as well as an insane 1.4 million manpower, as well as 1.4 million sailors. But anyways, this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video for this Monday, and we are going to see, as always, on the next Monday.